of January 17th with the call to order and with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Kim Kroll,
Here.
Patty Sim Smartrick,
Here.
John Schaefer,
Here.
Nick Burtek,
Present.
Greg Wigolski,
Willigorski here.
Wigolski. There you go.
Missing a letter there, but.
Who was president?
Okay, first item of business is election of officers. Believe we have to elect a president. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
I'll accept nominations for election of president for the Waterworks Board.
I would like to nominate John Schaefer as president of the Waterworks Board.
I would like to second that nomination.
Any other nominations? Nominations are closed. Make a motion to approve John Schaefer as president of the Waterworks Board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Approval of minutes. Go ahead.
President,
You do vice president.
looking for a nomination for vice president.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're looking for a nomination for vice president of the Waterworks Board.
I'd like to nominate Nick Furto as vice president.
I will second that motion.
Motion made and second.
All right.
Any other nominations? All those in favor, say by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Approval of minutes. The only comment I have on this is since this is a new board, as far as approval of minutes, I would just like a motion to have the minutes placed on file since we were not part of the water board at that time. So I'm looking for a motion just to place the minutes on file for the December 19th, 2023 meeting.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried. Old business. Any old business? We have none at this time. New business. We have, consider a motion to approve professional services agreement with Baker Tilly to serve as the financial advisor for the Board of Waterworks for the year 2024. Looking for a motion to approve.
I will make the motion to approve Baker Tilly.
A second.
Motion made and second. Under the question? All's in favor say aye.
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 Motion carried. Motion to consider approval of professional services agreement with Robinson Engineering to serve as engineers for the Board of Waterworks for year 2024. Looking for a motion?
I will make the motion to approve Robinson Engineering as the engineers for the Waterworks Board for the year 2024.
A second.
Under the question? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carried. Consider approval for professional services agreement with the Adam McAlpine for consulting services to serve as a secondary engineer for the Board of Waterworks for the year 2024. Looking for a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the service agreement with Adam McAlpine Consulting to serve as secondary engineer for the Board of Waterworks for the year 2024.
I will second that.
Under the question? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried. Consider approval of professional services agreement with Haas and Associates to provide engineering services related to the bidding documents, revisions, bidding services, and construction support services for the 2022 water main replacement project. Looking for a motion for approval.
So moved.
I will second that.
Under the question, is there a representative from Haas in the audience?
Good evening, I'm Tim Haas.
Can you explain a little bit about your project to the residents and the board here?
Yes, this is Brad Minnick. Brad and I work together. The project involves replacing 4 sections of water main that have been perennial issues from a maintenance standpoint for the water department. And the project was bid a couple years ago, and one bid was received, and it was very high. And the water board and town council at that time decided not to move forward with the project because of the high price and the fact that there was only one bid, so no other bid to compare it to see if it was reasonable. But at that time, you may recall, there were major issues with supply chain problems, ductile iron pipe. Well, actually, this isn't ductile iron, but ductile iron pipe was really hard to get. But other materials were difficult to obtain at that time, and the prices were just through the roof. I think the prices have perhaps, hopefully, come down a bit since then, but it's time to, these four line segments, or water line segments that are included in the project, were part of the list of projects that were intended to be completed with the bond issue, the water bond issue that was put out at that time. So basically, we're back here. We understand you'd like to put the project out for bid and repair these 4 sections of water mains.
Can you also explain or let everybody know what sections those are?
Yeah. Okay. There are 4 different sites. One of them consists of 1,400, approximately 1,400 feet of water main on Olcott Avenue from West 97th Lane to West 95th Place. The second location is also on Olcott Avenue from Homestead Heights Drive to Bull Run Ditch. The third location is on West 96th Court and North Coat Ave to 97th Court and North Coat Ave. There's a couple cul-de-sacs at that location, and the work would include there's a couple options, one of which might involve replacing the existing water main that's behind the houses, and that's one option. Another option is to go about it in another way that doesn't involve so much work in the rear yards of these houses. But there are easements there, and the water mains existing water mains are within existing easements. So there's an alternate bid item, so we'll have a chance to compare the cost for doing it 2 different options and weigh that against the inconvenience to the residents. And then the fourth section is on West 85th Ave from Magnolia Street to east of Primrose, and that's approximately 2,500 feet. And I don't think I mentioned on the third segment there in the cul-de-sac area, that's about 1,100 feet of water main.
Okay. And this contract is just to prepare or redo the current bid plans?
Yeah, it's to take the plans that were bid a couple years ago and the specification project manual and to revise those such that they're ready to bid now, and then go through the coordination process, working with the town to advertise, go through the public bidding process once again, and then the completion of our services for the proposal that you are currently considering would be at the point where we would make a recommendation to this board on what we see, either go with this company, or no, their bid had errors, go with this company, come back with a letter of recommendation to you on our recommendation for how to proceed. And then that would end our services, more or less. And then McAlpine Engineering would take over the project for construction administration and inspection of construction on behalf of this board. And then we, Haas and Associates, would be available in case any issues came up during construction that would need our assistance to resolve. But that would be a if ordered, if needed kind of thing.
I know it's a different time, a couple of years have passed, but do you anticipate getting more than one bidder? I know you don't have a crystal ball, but.
Well, I guess I really, that's a very difficult question to know the answer to. So I think that at this time, the intention is to take bids next month. And given that, I think there's a good chance of getting more than one bid. And as an example, we opened bids on another project in another community in Northwest Indiana on today's Wednesday, it must have been on Monday, and on that project we had 2 bids. That project had also been bid a couple years ago and gotten 1 bid, and it was really high. So this time we rebid it, and at least we had 2 bids.
Okay, yeah, we're just looking for the best value
Yeah.
for the taxpayers' money, as you are as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We put the notice out that this project's bidding, extensively. There's services out there that that's their job, is to find out what projects are out for bid, and then they distribute that information to many contractors who do that kind of work. And so, we work with those type of companies to try to get the word out. So yeah, we will do our best to attract bidders.
Mr. President, we are wrapping these 4 water main projects into one bid process, so
Yes.
that will be more enticing for contractors as well.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, it'll be gain more interest because of the size of the project versus doing each one individually.
Okay.
And if we get one contractor, we'll probably save on demobilization and mobilization, because it's all right in the same area, except maybe Magnolia to Primrose. And that's the reason why we didn't repave 85th, because that water main is going to go in the road.
Okay.
So there was no sense in paving a road and then having to cut it open again and putting a water main in. So once that's done, that road can get paved.
Yeah, and you're exactly right about the 1 mob, 1 demob, 1 contractor, 1 overhead cost. It's an economy of scales.
Okay, and then, Bob, I don't know if you can answer this or not. Is any of this area where the water main going in, does it have lead service lines?
There are no lead service
There are
lines in
no
those
lead
areas.
service lines, okay. And then this contract is for an amount not to exceed $13,875, correct?
Correct.
Any other questions? All right, I'm looking.
Thank you.
We already have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item E, consider a write-off for unpaid water changes or charges and penalties in the amount of $355.01.
So just so everyone's on up to date to that, these are accounts where people have either left town or just refused to pay the bill. The collection cost would be more than just writing it off.
Looking for a motion?
I will make that motion to write off the unpaid water charges and penalties in the amount of $355.
And 1 cent.
I'm sorry, what?
And 1 cent.
Oh, 1 cent, I'm sorry. 1 cent.
Looking for a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried. Consider waiving water late charge penalties for utility customers for the month of January 2024. Any explanation on that?
Yeah, so the clerk's office sent out the bills at our normal time. Somewhere in the process of going from St. John to Bedford Park to Gary, back to St. John, they were lost for a while, so they didn't hit the mailbox till later on. So we're going ahead and taking care of those late fees for customers who didn't get them on time.
Looking for a motion to waive late charge penalties?
A motion
Looking for a second?
I'll second that.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And
Aye.
I should clarify that too. Consider the waiver of late charge penalties for utility customers for the month of January 2024 only. Okay.
They're lucky they got them to begin with the
Yeah.
post office.
Consider authorization for Robinson Engineering to prepare bid documents related to the replacement of filter media at the Monarchs Gates treatment plants and authorize the bidding of the same. Gentleman from Robinson, if you want to explain a little and.
Thank you, Mr.
detail
President.
on that.
For those that are new, this project actually started out as a new treatment plant to increase water capacity. But once we started looking into it, it was determined that we could increase capacity by changing out the filter media in the 2 existing plants. So this far, we've done the work to get the item permits. There's only 5 or 6 communities in the state that were approved to use this material, so kind of groundbreaking. The town has the material, so we just need to finish up the bidding and specifications to award it to a contractor. We're currently on schedule to bid the project on February 16th, so it would be on your next agenda to award. We want to get this going because we have to do 1 plant at a time. So as we take these filters offline, we want to make sure that gets done before the heavy water use in the summer. So thus far, we do not have a task order to do this work, so we've got about $35,000 in time already preparing the permits, doing the samples. So we're looking at probably another 10 to get it out to bid for a total of $45,000.
For an amount not to exceed 45,000?
Correct. And we would have a task order too. We just didn't get it in time for this agenda.
I understand with the task order, but I'd like to make a recommendation for further, that you also provide a scope of services
For sure.
for any new contracts that come before the board.
We definitely will. That's the plan. That was how the master services agreement was written. So all projects will have its own task order, which will lay out the scope of services, the compensation, and the schedule.
Mr. President, if I may, just a correction, slight correction. We're going to do 1 filter at 1 plant. Then we will go to the other treatment plant, do 1 filter at that plant. Therefore, we can always have the plant running 24/7 if need be.
Okay.
Not 1 plant at a time, then the other plant. We're gonna alternate.
Okay? Any questions from the board? Looking for a motion to Authorize Robinson Engineering to prepare bid documents related to the replacement of filter media at the Monnex and Gates treatment plant, and authorized bidding of the same in the amount not to exceed $45,000.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Consider authorization for Haas and Associates to prepare bid documents related to the 2022 various water main replacement project and authorize bidding of the same. Is this a typo?
So you consider the approval of the professional services. Now you're authorizing them to actually prepare the bid documents for the various water main projects.
So there is no dollar amount involved in this. Am I correct?
So I think that dollar amount on there was the 13,875.
Which we approved under item D. So this is just the authority to go out for bid once those documents are completed.
Right, to prepare them and go out for them.
Okay. So consider authorized for Haas Associates to prepare bid documents related to the 2022 various water main replacement projects and authorize the bidding of the same. Questions for the board? Looking for a motion?
So moved.
Looking for a second?
Second that.
Motion made and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carried. The only comment I have on that is, once bid documents are completed, will Public Works have a chance to review those documents before it goes out to bid? Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you. Reports and correspondence. Item A, Robinson Engineering.
Thank you, Mr. President. For those of you new to the board, in 2023, we did a water main replacement project on Acorn Drive and the associated courts that come off of that street. So the project is substantially complete. Punch list items and landscaping will be addressed in the spring. And we're looking to end up this project about $70,000 under budget. We've already reviewed the filter media, so we're on track to get that out to bid next month. Also, in the next couple weeks, we will have the IDEM permit submitted for the piping modifications for the altitude valves at the two towers of Kilkenny and Hack. We're still working on preparing an estimate for the Gates well houses for to construct the well houses. The lead service line inventory, we had a kickoff meeting in December with staff. We're currently compiling data on that one, and we're on track for when that's due to the state in October. And finally, we have a contract to do the Atlas updates, and we're on track with that one as well, currently compiling data and updating the maps from recently completed subdivisions.
Any questions from the board?
Sanitary.
Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Town staff?
I have the media replacement, the well houses to be constructed, and numerous water main projects which we are getting rolling. We're looking for a very, very, very busy summer, so, and it'll be nice to get everything going. So, yes, the altitude valves, everything, we're gonna get that going and get that all taken care of.
Item C, Town Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report at this time, but I do want to welcome everyone that's either new or old. And I won't use that word because Nick gets mad at me when I say that. But want to welcome you guys and look forward to working with you on this board.
Thank you. Payment of bills. Consider approval of progress payment to FH Passion for the 93rd Avenue widening and water main project in the amount of $10,738.15, and authorize the clerk treasurer to issue payment from the 2021 water bond. Under the question, looking for a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Consider approval of the progress payment for First Group Engineering for the 93rd Avenue widening water main project in the amount of $2,772.87, and authorize the clerk treasurer to issue payment from the 2021 water bond. Another question? Looking for a motion?
So moved.
I will second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Consider approval of a partial payment to Austin Electric for the installation of the Ross altitude valve at the Kilkenny Water Tower in the amount of $30,251.77, and authorize the clerk treasurer to issue payment from the water utility.
So, Mr. President, a correction on that. That is just for the purchase of the altitude valve.
You would like me to touch on that, I can.
Yeah, if you can.
So we purchased these altitude valves, water control valves, and I would say back in January, perhaps, maybe earlier, without us knowing that we had to get a permit for the work to be completed. We bought the 2 altitude valves to replace the old one that was in Hack Street that was taken out years ago for, I have no idea why. We wanted to replace that. We bought another one, same valve, so we'll have all 3 valves in the same tower, and the same water tower, so we have 3 water towers. And we were going to install one in the Kilkenny Tower vertically, and after discussion with Robinson, they suggested that we put it in a pit. So that's the route we're going to take. We're gonna build a vault outside, put an inline altitude valve in the vault, and with a bypass, because if you installed it now in the riser pipe that's in the water towers, that would not have a bypass. So we're going a different route with that. This is just the purchase of the altitude valves and delivered to us. We have them already, so it's just paying him for the work that he has completed.
I just have one question. When it says partial, is this like a 25% of the scope of work, 50%, 75%?
This is probably 50% because the total RTP, I think, was in the 60s.
Okay.
So that's another question I have for the board is how would you like to go about how we're going to carry on forward with these? Hack Street is easy, done, just design and install. The one out at Kilkenny Tower with the vault is going to run approximately $100,000 to have it installed into the vault. I've had 3 companies come out and give me estimates on that, and that's roughly where we're at with that. There's also another option. If we wanted to put it in the riser pipe, we could have the engineer of the water tower come out, which is, I think, Pittsburgh Tank and Tower, I think, and sign off on safe installation and no structural issues. We decided to go with the vault as a team, and it's just a safer way, and we want to have a bypass, because if you ever have to work on that valve now, you have to drain the whole tower. So that's, I guess, my next step, our next step. How do you guys want to approach that? If it's at $100,000, is that?
So I think we'll get the new board members especially. I know John was on last year, or was it sanitary last year?
Sanitary.
Sanitary. I think we should get them all the information. That way they can make a decision based off of
Sure.
everything, not just, on
Right.
a quick snippet of 5
Right.
minutes at this meeting.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I just wanted them to know that there's gonna be an
Oh,
extra
no,
cost.
absolutely, you're right on that.
And my next question is, where's the funding coming from this?
Again, that's gonna be in the information that we give you.
Okay, all right.
Where we work it from.
Yeah, as long as we've got the funds to pay for it.
Well, that's the only way they're gonna do it. Without getting paid, they're not gonna do it, so,
What a thought.
yeah.
So, this is just for the payment of the altitude valves themselves, and that's why it's considered a partial payment.
Correct. And that's why
We
there's,
already have those valves in hand.
yes, they're in our shop.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If you had to drain a tower, what are you looking at, like that kind of cost?
Well, it's not cost, it's what you're
Losing.
draining approximately 800,000 gallons of water, and then it becomes an issue because of fire suppression and all that stuff.
So your vault really makes a lot more sense.
Yes,
Just
yes.
Bob, just a question on the design part and stuff. Instead of a vault, and I don't know if anything was thought of or if Robinson looked at any of this, and I don't know what kind of room you have around the tower, would you ever consider a prefab structure to put it in above ground, where you could still have a bypass within that structure? And if you had to work on it or whatever, it's,
Yeah, no. I'm not sure what the cost would be on that, if it would be more, if we were going more of the cheaper route to just get this done and in. But no, Robinson and I, we never thought of a prefab structure,
okay.
or considered one, I guess, but we can and look into that.
It might just be something to look at before you actually go out to bid and see what that,
Sure,
prefab would be, because then you could only, you'd have to put a 4-foot foundation in and set the building all in one package and. So, okay,
I'll have our water guys look into that.
all right. All right, item C, still on the, we had motion made and second under the question? Or we did not have a,
I don't think we had a
Okay.
motion yet.
all right. Looking for a motion to approve payment, the amount of $30,251.77 for the two altitude valves, which the town of St. John has in possession now. Looking for a motion and a second.
I'll make that motion.
I second.
Second, motion made and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried. Item D, consider approval of partial payment to Austin Electric for the installation of the Ross altitude valve at Hack Water Tower in the amount of $30,251.77 to authorize the village treasurer to issue payment from the water utility.
So this is the same thing as item C. These were both deferred from the last board last year. So we're asking for payment of the 30,000
And
for the
this-
delivery of it. It was the same for the valve itself, not the installation.
And this is installed, correct?
No,
no.
neither one is.
This is the other altitude valve, we had two of them.
Oh, okay.
So this is just the payment of the valve and the delivery, us receiving the valve,
And not the installation?
not the installation.
Okay.
We have two of them?
Yes,
Okay.
Under the question? Looking for a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Consider a payment to M.E. Simpson for fire hydrant maintenance and flow testing in the amount of $34,935 and authorize the village clerk treasurer to issue payment from the water utility.
This one was also, excuse me, Mr. President, this one was also started last year and deferred by the last board. So it's back up on your docket for payment.
And this has been completed?
Yes.
And-
M.E. Simpson did do half the town, and they'll come back this year to do the other half of the town.
Okay.
It's a flow study and hydrant flushing and maintenance, yes.
Okay. Looking for a motion to approve payment to M.E. Simpson.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Accounts payable voucher dated January 17th, 2024, representing payment for payroll supplies, services, equipment rendered to the Water District in the combined total of $24,069.18. Under the question? Looking for motion to approve.
So moved.
A second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Item G, accounts payable voucher dated January 17th, 2024, representing payment for payroll supplies, services, equipment rendered to the water utility for the town of St. John in the combined total of $741,581.45. Under the question? Looking for a motion?
I will make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Anyone in the audience for public comment? Go ahead, sir. Please come up and state your name.
Hi, I'm Jim Zarnik.
How you doing, Jim?
Hi, Water Board. Congratulations. Good luck this year. I have a question for Robinson Engineering. Hi, Dave. Given that Haas and Associates is in the room, just a follow-up item from last year. So to expedite design of the well houses, Haas had provided some information to Robinson Engineering. And as of last year, there were kind of some troubles accessing that data. I'm just wondering if you're able to get everything that you need.
Yes, we were able to get the drawings opened and take a look at, and we're still in the process of evaluating the cost to get those finished, because we only have drawings. We'll still have to do specs, front-end documents, permitting, those type of things, but yes, the drawings were helpful.
Great. Wonderful. That's all I needed to know. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience have a comment? Okay. Close public comment. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I will
Motion made.
second.
Second. All in favor?